Welcome to this Taoist meditation session. The meditations I'm going to be presenting come from Taoism. You might be wondering why I'm talking about all sorts of things before doing the meditation. It is to give you a context and understanding why you're doing it so it can have a much better effect for you. Just sit straight, breathe, let your mind get quiet, go on to the meditation. Well, welcome back. Now, being sequestered in your house, some people are very creative and have found a lot of ways of keeping themselves very energized. However, nobody knows if they're the most or the smallest number of people, but my guess is that there's way fewer of them than people who find themselves being sequestered inside a house, that their energy starts getting lower and lower, and that very easily can lead a person kind of into a light or a heavy state of depression. And if there's anything that is true about being sequestered for whatever reason, is that if you don't do something to keep your insides very, very alive, when you get let out, you're not going to be very, very alive. And the hope is that it won't last for your whole life. But with some people, it has been known to. There were many people who, after they were imprisoned in World War II or in the Korean War, who were never very alive and vibrant beings afterwards. Now, people take a lot of ways of doing this. Some people just, if they just can get angry once or twice a day, that makes them feel alive. It does a lot of other bad things for you. And above and beyond damaging your nerves and damaging your heart and damaging your liver, but still, maybe that'll work for you. But now I'm going to try and take what I think it is for a more normal situation, because a lot of Americans and Europeans are very numb to their bodies. That's why, as I said, as a kid, from 12 to 18, and I did martial arts, so I used my body a hell of a lot. But, could I feel everything that was inside me? Well, I sure thought I could. And then after doing a year of really heavy martial art training, karate, judo, and daily training with the founder of Aikido, Morihei Ueshiba, I thought, from doing at least the chi stuff I did in Aikido, I thought I could feel the inside of me very well. And then I go to Taiwan and I meet Wang Shijing. And so he asked me I'm learning Bagua from him. Bagua is one of the things that actually Aikido's founder, when he went to China, he learned it and he put it into his Aikido. It's really obvious. And there's actually been research done that proved that he was studying it when he was in Manchuria. But there is that, he had me doing something where I had my leg up in the air and I had my hand like this. And then he would say, okay, now I want you to make your hand go forward. And then I want you to just to twist it back a little bit. He's doing all these various things. But the thing that he got a kicker from was that he said, okay, now move your hand from your liver, move your leg from your kidney. And he was giving very explicit instructions that this internal organ was to drive the way my hands and feet were going to move. Well, when he said it, no doubt, I thought he was out of an ever-loving mind. Okay, really. And you have to respect a teacher in the Orient, they just throw you out. And he was one of the best that there was in China. So I didn't want him to throw me out. But at some point, I think the look on my face gave me away. He said, just stop for a second. Can I ask you a question? Do Americans believe in ghosts? Do they believe in the spirits? I don't know what the look on my face said, but I'm trying to dodge his questions, okay? Because I was not, as much into that. Even though I did have some experience through one of the kids in my high school of going to some voodoo things. Because his family was involved, and what the hell, you want to try something different tonight? Sure, why not? You know, some weird stuff in those Yoruba and the religions that came out of Africa. But anyway, and all right, I mean, I could kind of feel some things happening outside me, but I didn't feel anything inside me. You know, and when he said, like, well, move your hand from your liver, okay, I mean, at some point he says, oh, okay, in America, do you believe in ghosts? So I kind of sheepishly went, yeah, I mean, you know, okay. And then he said, then I want to ask you a second question. Since you can't feel the inside of it. He asked me, could you feel the inside of your body, what I was saying? Could you feel your liver? And my first answer was, could you? I mean, really, it's just like saying, someone said, can you fly? I'm saying, can you? I mean, you know, can you walk through a wall? Kindly show me and I'll believe it can be done, you know? And he just, and every time I said no, he would shake his head like this. Now, I don't know if you've ever had the misfortune of seeing a dog who has gotten sick or had his legs broken, and seriously, the old phrase was a pitiful cur, okay, and you know, and that was for like a wretched human being, but it actually was applied to a dog originally, and he just said, okay, so you kind of believe in ghosts, okay. Now I want to ask you a question. You can't feel your liver. So did you sell your liver to a ghost? And did you get a good price? Because you better have gotten a damn good price, because not to not be able to feel a part of your body, that's not good. That's really not good. And especially if you want to learn Bagua. And I didn't know what to say. I ducked him, I dodged him, I did everything I could. But you know, it took me several years before I could feel the chi of my liver. And that was years of just having my mind, an idea that, well, there was something, so I'm going to make my mind kind of do it. Till one day, bingo, it was there. You know, if you've ever seen someone who's come out of a very severe accident, you know, at first, can you feel your hand? No. Can you feel one finger? Maybe. Okay. Can you, if you feel that thing, try to start moving it. Oh, can you feel it now? Yeah. And then they just take you through a gradual sensitization period. But originally, you can't feel. It's like you don't have an arm, you don't have a leg, you don't have whatever part of your body was screwed up by the operation. So we now also have the same thing. People have this physically. I have taught a lot of people. I mean, I've been doing this for 50 plus years. So I've engaged a lot of people. I have found that most people cannot feel what's going on inside their body. Okay? As a matter of fact, if you ask most people what's really going on inside their mind, they can't tell you. And that is one reason why we have a huge psychological industry, because most people actually can't really feel what's going on in their mind. So they need the help of a psychologist or a psychiatrist to sensitize themselves so they can actually realize what's going inside their mind. And it's only at that point that the therapy really can begin. Okay? So now here. Now the trouble is that if you can't feel inside your body or inside your mind, do you know where most people go as a default position? They go numb. They go numb. You get, in politics, a lot of people just go, oh, I don't care. Nothing can happen. They just go numb. So they lose their vibrancy. And, well, right now, just very lightly, go from your top of your head and just feel how is each part of your body alive. We'll just do it down to the belly. Now your head. Does your head feel alive? Does your mind feel alive? Or do you feel, as the common phrase goes, I feel like I got one foot in the grave? Is your mind very alive and very sensitive? When you make love, do you actually feel alive to everything that's happening to the person you're making love with? Because very commonly that happens a bit in the beginning and then it dies out. You go back to being numb again. Then it's time either to get somebody new or make do with a terrible situation. Most people usually make do with a terrible situation if you want to get factual about it. But it doesn't matter. Okay, if you're feeling love and can you feel what's going on inside the other person? Can you feel what's going on inside you except for maybe one or two parts of your body that are stimulated? Because you have got a whole body. Can you feel what you're feeling in all the different parts of your body? That means your body's alive, which is good. I'm not, we get many, many problems going through the human condition, and making love has at least always been touted as the most pleasurable, or at least the something that can mitigate the drudgery of life. Okay, right? So now, good. Now, go through your body again. And when you get to a place that feels numb, by just changing the way you look at it, you feel it, can you make that place become more alive? Now, there are varying degrees of being alive. There is the way a 5-year-old kid who has a birthday party is running around screaming at anything. Move your fingers, he goes, look, he's moving his finger. At least they're alive. Let's not talk about whether what they're doing makes any sense or not, but they are alive. And yet, there are many, many people who, for example, teenagers, they spend half their time when they're out of their class either trying to get stoned so they don't have to, they feel something, or else they lie in bed for hours and hours a day. And they're watching their computer game or saying, but the truth of the matter is what they're doing is they're zoning out. They recognize they can't feel. And the more numb you get, the more numb you want to get, because that seems to be normal to you. Okay? So just really think about it. One of you felt very alive, and one of you not felt that alive. And anybody says, well, I've never had any time in my life where I've never felt alive. We got to get you down to a major medical institution, really have you studied. Because to the best of my knowledge, I've never heard of it, but there's also no references in any literature anywhere I've been able to find where somebody always felt happy. Okay? That's a big reason why the Dalai Lama goes, my religion is happiness. Because as you become happy, you become alive. But even if you're alive because, I don't know, you're doing some crazy thing, there's something about that. Cracking a peanut shell makes you feel alive. I don't know, it could be anything. Different things, but what does it feel to be more alive? And what does it feel to be more numb? Now, go down your body, start at the top of your head, and deliberately try to make yourself feel numb. So that the purpose of this is that you want to be able to recognize if you're in that condition. And then you want to pull yourself out of it. Or if you see you're going into a downward slide of becoming numb, you have to do whatever you can do to stop that. Because, when you're numb, you're not being fully alive. So you, what is the old phrase? Dead men walking. That's something they use in prisons for people who are very shortly going to be executed. They're dead and they're walking. And many people go through life very numb, very not being able to experience their emotions, or even not being able to experience their flesh. There are people who very common will have periods of their life where some part of their body, they just will not be able to feel it. So wait a second. So you want to now really make sit down, let your mind go through anywhere in your body, and just do your best to try and recognize, do you feel alive? Or do you feel numb? Or do you feel like you're moving toward, going so numb, who knows, you might not even recognize yourself anymore. It's okay, this is a normal human thing. Now, when somebody is numb, it's very easy for them, if you're sequestered in a house, to have emotions underneath what is numb. If you think because you're feeling numb that you don't have emotions, you're wrong. If you think because you're feeling numb that your unconscious mind is not thinking things, then I would just tell you, you're wrong. That's not the human condition. And then if people they feel numb, but something inside of them says they want to get angry and dump on somebody, or they want to try and make the people around them miserable because for some deep mental thing that's making them miserable, then they'll try and make that happen. But if they can feel they're doing it, rather than being numb, then they might say, wait a second, I don't want to do this to that person, so I'm going to try and knock it off. But if you're numb to having those feelings inside you, you will, as the phrase goes, throw your garbage on them and not even recognize you're doing it or that there's anything wrong with that. And we've all met people that you get around them and within 2 minutes, all you want to do is run away from them as fast as possible because they're numb. And then the next step of being numb is that you try and suck energy from people. That also happens. And nobody likes that either. So what does it mean to be more numb? So I want you now to just start now again at the top of your head. Go down your body. Just recognize numbness is one kind of blockage. But it's a very, very pervasive one in America. And I'm just going to talk while you're doing this just because, but you focus on what you're going at, you've been taught how to have your mind penetrate your body, penetrate as far into you as you can go. Now I had this point made to me when I was in my 30s or 40s, somewhere around there, rather unambiguously. Now, in my life, I have been to 2 giant gambling centers. One is Macau, because a friend of mine, his father owned it, but it had nothing to do with him. I just wanted to take a look at it. I'd never seen a giant casino. I had seen small card games, but I'm not you cannot believe how big these places are. And I had an assumption, right, that in my life, most people I know who gambled and they won, they were happy. It was like, yay, I won, and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so I just, got up and looked at people. I didn't have any desire to gamble. It was okay. I got through that phase of my life when I was very young. But I started watching them. And you could see that a lot of the people who were very numb, and the first thought that came into my mind, they were zombies. But that wasn't the thing that really got me. And it was the same in Macau, and it was the same in Vegas. When someone won a big chunk of money, half the time they were numb through the whole process. They didn't get any joy out of it. I mean, if winning in gambling gives you a buzz, all right. I mean, different people have different things that gives them some sort of pleasure. But no, what I would watch is that they would actually get numb to it. They would do the perfunctory, yeah, I'll have a drink. It was like watching a zombie in action. And then, they would go on to what they would. But I saw this with so many people, and I was saying that, wait a second. And as a matter of fact, some of them, as soon as they went to playing next, actually were more numb and more miserable than they were before they won the money. I went, what the hell is going on here? And as I started looking more and more, I remembered some things that my teacher said about, don't confuse inner and outer happiness. If you have a big enough shell of numbness around you, most people who have that are commonly unable to feel the happiness inside them. It's like it blocks it. So, it's okay. So you're going to walk and you're in your house and you're going to walk over here and you're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to go get something to eat, and you're going to turn on a TV, or you're going to sit by a computer and do whatever it is you do on a computer. But by going down and feeling what's inside your body, then you can start feeling the numbness, and then you can try and do something about it, which we're getting to the dissolving, which will have a way of getting rid of it. But what you want to do is take this dissolving down. Take this recognizing what's going on, feeling. Go as deep as you can get into your skin. Don't push it. Don't make it where you have to do force, but there's a certain natural degree your mind will be able to sink into your body, which will grow as you meditate over time. It's like anything else. We all start as being little things. We didn't go to being 5 or 6 feet tall in an afternoon. Just have your mind keep on feeling inside you what's alive, what's numb, until you reach your lower Tantien, which is down around here, and which I've explained before. And now let your mind just stay on your lower Tantien and start trying to penetrate it. Now, one thing that, if you need a context for this, is that your lower Tantien is the energetic center in your body that is responsible for you being alive. The sense of physicality in every form that it exists. The sense of I am alive as opposed to I am dead. If the energy in your lower Tantien gets too weak, you're going to feel like you're the walking dead. You're not going to feel alive, and yet you can look around you and see that you are, and it's a very confusing place to be in. But your lower Tantien also has the ability, when you wake it up enough, that you can turn happiness on like a switch. Because it's always there, and it's only a question of, like a dimmer switch, how much do you want to turn it up or turn it down? But with a dimmer switch, usually there's always some light coming out of it. You can increase it or decrease it, but the first thing is you got to be able to feel it before you can start affecting, commanding, if you will, or at least getting the Tantien to do something you want it to do. That's only possible after you can feel your Tantien. And so get your mind down, and I want you to just try and penetrate your Tantien. And my question is, what do you feel? Now, the fact of the matter is that you could feel a million things there because there are a million things going on in your Tantien. Every channel that affects your physicality goes through there. The lower Tantien is commonly called the doorway between life and death. Because when the energy of the Tantien completely leaves your body, you just die. That's it. Over and out. Although, if it gets low enough, you could stay in a coma for 30 years. Not exactly the best way to live, but your carcass would not be dead. So start feeling that, and start feeling, does it feel alive or numb? Now you're going to find, if you do this for a while, that if you focus your attention some way, one way, your Tantien is going to get more numb on you, more dead on you. And then just happen to watch that the next couple of hours if you don't actually feel more kind of dead. Or at least recognize how that same feeling you're getting in your lower Tantien is what you're going through in periods of time when you're feeling dead. You're feeling shut down. Okay? And then again, if you put your mind there and you start feeling that there's some place in there that somehow you're getting a warm fuzzy, you're getting a sense of joy, you're getting a sense of whoopee, you're just getting a sense of I'm okay, you're okay, everything's okay, and you're all right. But you need to be able to recognize if that's happening. And you just do this. And the more you do this, the more you can recognize whether your body is coming more alive. Now, your mind is what is going to be able to enter into your lower Tantien and really feel what's there. You move your arm, well, by all the muscles and the nerves and the bones moving, that's generating sensation. Unless you've had a really horrible accident, your body's been traumatized to an insane degree. But it's the same thing. Your mind can feel inside your Tantien. It can recognize whether Tantien is on a whatever scale, more toward the alive, moving toward the alive, or moving towards shutting down, becoming dead. You want to be able to recognize these two things. Because if you can feel alive, then, well, at least you'll have a better time with the people you're locked in the COVID virus thing. But it's also throughout the whole of your life, this will enable you to have better human relations. We've all met people who are what's the phrase, the curmudgeons? That everything, no matter, you say, wasn't it a beautiful sunset? And they go, yeah, it was okay. There's Winnie the Pooh, there was Eeyore, the donkey. Wow, wasn't that the best tasting food you ever had? I guess. It had, yeah, I tasted something. And, if you're Tantien shutting down enough, that's what you're going to become. Again, you have the people, well, yeah, the food was pretty good, or, wow, the sunset. Didn't you like the way it was just kind of like that one kind of little purple ray coming in? So I thought it was very cool. It's just the sense of being alive to life itself, which is quite different than being numb to life itself. So I would recommend that for a couple of days, just try this. Do 1 session a day. If you want, do it 2 sessions a day. And my only advice is that in the beginning, just don't sit and practice doing this for more than half an hour. That's max. 20 minutes is probably fine, because your mind and your awareness, usually most people can keep their awareness going for 20 minutes. After that, it takes practice and discipline to have a mind that can be stable enough to meditate for longer periods of time. But something that you see all the time is that if you ever see these giant meditation workshops that go on for a couple of hours, you start watching at a certain point that people just seem to, their body's there, I don't know where the rest of them is. That's why in Zen, they used to have a guy walk around with kind of a bamboo stick, and that whenever they could see that a person's mind was losing its ability to be present, they just hit him on the shoulder, kind of like going, wake up, wake up. But if you can get the sense of your lower Tantien, even it being neutral as opposed to having a lot of joy, that is really going to make your life a lot more happy than if your Tantien is going dead on you. And being sequestered alone, if most of your life has revolved around interacting with people, that can be a challenge. For some, not for all. A lot of people handle it quite well, actually. There are many people in the world who honestly wish they didn't actually even have to contact people more than about 15 minutes a day. But still, you want to now get to where you can become more alive. Because when you have that happiness inside you, this sense of this aliveness can influence people nearby you. And that will make your time much nicer. And I would have to say, when the coronavirus is over, if you actually get the knack of how to do this, this can really have a major effect on your mental and emotional experience of living life. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you found this helpful. If you like this, go ahead and click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.